Today I'm going to introduce you to understanding ourselves and others by using Herrmann's thinking preferences. My name's Bruce Holland and I'm the author of Cracking Great Leaders. My task is to introduce what I think is one of the most useful consulting tools that I've found in 22 years of business consulting. You see, people are different. Research from hundreds of thousands of people in the Herrmann database show that there are 4 quite different species living side by side on this planet, and without help, they simply don't know how to understand each other. It's almost as though they were painted in a different colour. They're so different from each other. And Herrmann's whole brain instrument, or HBDI for short, helps us understand which species we're dealing with and how to treat them like they need to be treated. This is important because so often we think everyone wants to be treated the way we want to be treated. But if we're one species and we're dealing with a different species, this simply isn't true. This knowledge helps us communicate with them much more successfully and helps build trust right through the organisation. There are blue people, green people, red people, and yellow people. Herrmann's instrument is amazing in its simplicity and how quickly people can grab hold of it and use it. I mean, within hours, people are starting to use it in a really successful and important sort of a way. So what he's done is he said that certain people have a preference for left brain thinking. These are the blue and green people. And others have a preference for right brain thinking. These are the yellow and red people. But there's a top and a bottom piece. The top people tend to think their way through problems using their cortex, whereas the green and the red people tend to feel their way into problems using nearly their whole body. So it does pay to understand who you're dealing with, because what we've found is that if you're a blue person dealing with a red person, your understanding will be almost diametrically opposed. Blue people love figures and analysis, but they hate or dislike interpersonal matters, whereas red people really like the interpersonal matters, but they dislike figures and analysis. Yellow people like innovation and ambiguity, but they hate detail and precision. Whereas the green people, diagonally opposite, like detail and precision, but they dislike innovation and ambiguity. So there really is some real problems here. It does matter who you're dealing with, and you need to have a tool for doing it, and Herrmann is by far the best tool I've come across for doing that. For example, if you're dealing with a blue thinking type person, then you need to know your stuff. You have to do your research and get the facts, present them clearly, directly, no beating around the bush, no errors in facts because they'll find them. If you can demonstrate this to thinkers, then they will trust you, especially if you're brief and clear and precise. When it comes to green people, they need to know that they can rely on you and that you'll come through and deliver what you say. Delivery is vitally important to these people. If you can demonstrate this consistently, they'll trust you. They expect detailed documentation, step-by-step presentations, and practical details, including who and what and where and when, and they'll expect explanations about how it will happen, proof that you've done it before, references, background examples, all the handouts and so on. The red people, we call them humanitarians, need to know that you deeply understand from their point of view, that you've listened to what they've said and what they haven't said. If you can demonstrate this level of authenticity and connection, then they'll trust you. They expect you to loosen up, not to be too formal, and they want to establish rapport. The yellow people, we call them innovators, expect you to be open-minded enough to honour that they can be free to be who they are and to think differently. If you can demonstrate this, then they'll trust you. They'll open up and they will not hold back about who they are. They expect you to provide the big picture first. They want ideas introduced in chunks, allow time for ambiguity and spontaneity, and they expect you to use their imagination as well as your imagination about future implications, about what's important. Use metaphors and pictures and have fun and don't be too serious. So why is this so important? This is a tool that helps you understand yourself. And don't be fooled into thinking that most people understand themselves, because in my experience they don't. I mean, I can take myself as an example. I am a big innovator. I spent the first 12 years of my career as an accountant working away in that blue segment because I didn't truly understand myself until I was quite a lot older. 12 years is a long time to go down a blind alley. It's important to understand others, because if you don't understand others, then you can't communicate with them, you can't know what their needs are or how to stand in their shoes. And it's also important so people can be better managers. I mean, all managers make use of talents of each individual, but great managers play a bigger game. They understand the potential of the whole team, and Herrmann is a tool that allows you to see your whole team in a way that is quite special. I mean, performance reviews typically look at individuals, but managers are responsible for the output of the team, not just the output of the individuals in the team. And they're quite different, because the individuals in the team can be made to be far more than the individuals summed up. Great managers know that to get potential of the whole team, they need to see the big picture. They need to get people working together in whole brain teams. Whole brain teams is a really important concept when it comes to team building and, in fact, organisational work. I hope you can see the power of this tool. I mean, one manager said to me it was like looking at his team through a microscope. He could see all sorts of things happening because of this tool that he simply didn't know existed before. Take this team, for example, about 30 people. And most of them, you can see the little circles within the big circles, most of them are very left brain. So this is a very left brain team, has almost no innovation and very little human contact type people. In fact, these two people, number 7 and number 6 here, were actually the receptionists. And they were working in an organisation which was essentially a red organisation. So suddenly these people saw how scary and analytical they must appear to the rest of the organisation, and it suddenly dawned on them, while people weren't actually using their services or trusting them or getting them into the middle of the real decisions of the organisation. So some of the key lessons that managers get out of this module are that people are different and that they have different needs. And if you expect everyone to need what you need, then you're simply not going to be able to manage them successfully. They have different strengths to use for the organisation. And if you've got someone a square peg in a round hole or vice versa, then they are not going to be nearly as successful in your organisation as you think they could be, or as they could be. Not only does the organisation lose out, but so do they. And the big lesson, of course, is that you need to treat them differently. You need to make use of their skills, make use of their talents. That's the whole essence of cracking great leadership. The module will give you nearly everything you need, especially if you are a certified Herrmann practitioner. It will give you all the readings and the processes that I've developed over the years that will make this workshop come to life. It's taken me many years to streamline this thing so that people can get the most value out of half a day. It's a process that works. I just put these references here at the end. They're much too small for you to be able to see properly. If you stop the video for a minute and read them, very useful, a new team, so it was good to get everyone's makeup To others, I'd say a very good environment for new and old teams to get to know each other and work together more effectively. Come way down here, very good, go for it. I think the workshop was effective, and I've already seen some changes implemented by the financial analysts to tailor their information requests and presentations. Now that actually referred back to that chart back here that I had before. I really hope you take this module and make the most of it. Build in your own ideas, become certified if you're not, and if you're not, well then tailor it so that your access into Myers-Briggs or whatever other tool that you prefer and understand works. But the essence of this is not really Herrmann, although I strongly recommend that you use Herrmann because it is the best tool, I think, after many years of research that I've come across. And make it your own. Good luck. It's a really powerful tool, probably the strongest tool that I've had in my toolbox.